Hello everyone and welcome to this next LM simulation video here on YouTube. So as per one of my latest streams, I've done the Glasgow Cathcart Circle after getting it on Steam quite a cheap price actually, so that's quite handy. And I wanted to test it out, try it out and show it to you guys on the stream. As you guys know, Train Sim World 2, or you might not know, is developing at quite a rapid pace. We have got Rush Hour, the new DLC, coming out in the middle of August, I believe. So that'll be something new to explore. But as for now, we're going to try out Glasgow Cathcart Circle. So this is Glasgow Central, a wonderful termini station here in the centre of Glasgow. And we're going to be working this service to Glasgow Central, which is basically a circle service along the Glasgow Cathcart Circle line. Now, just to make sure that everything gets set up, I'm just going to get towards the front, make sure that I can take control of the train before it does its own thing. Hello. Yep, let's begin. So we've got everything done. We're loading passengers at the moment. That's good news. So this is the Class 314. It comes with the Cathcart Circle. Something in the back of my mind makes me think that we might be getting a 313 for maybe the East Coastway route in the future. The fact that we've got a 314 is not really that different from a 313. In fact, it's probably not different at all. I can't tell any differences. But anyway, it's a very similar thing, so hopefully later down the line we can end up with a Southern Class 313 for the East Coastway route. The East Coastway route is another one I am going to have to explore and do a review video on, and that'll be a little bit further down the line. But for now we're doing the Glasgow Cathcart Circle because it is reasonably new. So as you can see, Glasgow Central Station is very resplendent. The way it's been modelled is very, very nice indeed. The shadows and the impacts of the trains just look fabulous, absolutely fabulous. And I must admit, it's probably one of my favourite DLCs that come out from Train Sim World. We haven't had that many yet.
Luggage left unattended may be removed without warning or destroyed or damaged by security systems.
And that's one of the reasons why very, very authentic announcements that I think are taken from the real thing. So anyway, let's get inside and show you the cab of the Class 314. So this is it here. It's very similar to the one on the Armstrong Powerhouse pack of the Class 314 in Train Simulator, Train Sim 2021. In fact, it uses a lot of the same sounds. So what we're going to be doing now is we're just going to lock the doors, which is not right. Just need to close our door as well. Right, so now we've got to go onwards. Just need to turn things on if they want to turn on. I think the previous driver had done everything actually, to be honest. I'm just trying to get everything set up, like the AWS, which is up here. There we go, super. So let's release that. Yeah, everything's set, that's good. And we can get going once you put it into forward. So there we go. Some of the sounds are very nice indeed. If I do show you some of the sounds, I think you'll enjoy it. So for me, I live in the Liverpool area. As a result of that, I've got the Class 508 and 507 trains, which are actually derived from these as well. So for me, that sound is very familiar and something I know quite well. So it's very nice to have it in Train Simulator, that is for sure. Beautiful cab though, the way it's been laid out and everything. Quite spacious in there, obviously not so much in the cab area, but not going to complain too much because that's quite authentic. The window is down, so we've got some nice sounds coming out. So this service is basically a circular service that goes from Glasgow back to Glasgow and does a full circle around the Cathcart area. I'm just going to show you the route map now that we're just leaving. So we're here, this is Glasgow Central. One thing that does need to be pointed out, there are no markers, so you won't know what stations are until you pull up to them. That is wouldn't say an issue, a limitation of the Train Sim World game at the moment. Hopefully they add markers at some point. Anyway, we're heading around to here. This is Pollock Shields East, I believe it is. Is it Pollock Shields East? Yeah, it is Pollock Shields East. And then once we head round, we then head round to numerous other stations around this sort of balloon type route, and then head down to here to Cathcart, and then you head back up again the other side and back round through to Glasgow. So it's basically a full circle route. Please do let me know if you'd like to see some more of this route. For example, going down to Neilston. I'll just show you Neilston now. Neilston is just down here. Oh, before we start. There we go. So Neilston, if I just zoom us out, is down here. That's the terminating point that this route can go to. And also it goes to Newton, which is also, I'd say, a terminating point. It's on the way to other destinations. Motherwell trains tend to go via Newton, but it can be used as a terminating point. This is the West Coast Main Line here, and this is Newton. It's underneath it. That's the part of the route I've never done before. I've done Neilston, but I've never done Newton. The route also includes, and I'll show you in a minute, I'm just going to get up to speed, just to ensure we are running a little bit late at the moment. Also includes Shields Depot. This is Shields Depot over here, so you can take trains into and out of service there. It's a nice little depot. Unfortunately, as a limitation, obviously, of the route, there's only one train you can drive on it. That's the Class 314. There is no other traction at the moment. There is no Class 380 or 385. The new Hitachi ones, the 380 are the Siemens, the Zyros, 334s, which are Junipers. Don't have any of them. Don't have any 320s or 322s, whichever one they used here. I think it was 320s. They don't have any of them either, so it's a bit limiting. You've only got the Class 314 to drive, although I must admit it is a very nice drive. So it's even though you only have one train to drive, it's done in very, very nice detail. So. Anyway, we'll do the full run today of the whole Cathcart Circle, so you'll be able to see it in its glory on a glorious summer day, as you can see. We're running about a minute late at the moment. Once you run late on this route, it's very difficult to make back any time because the stations are so close in between, as you'll be able to see very shortly. But this game does have one thing that I really like, and that is PIS screens. I slightly overcooked it there by about 5 yards. It's alright. So here we are. As I can tell you, this route does have PIS screens, which are absolutely gorgeous, I must admit. Sorry about the flying passengers over there, that's obviously a bug in the game. You can see the platform information screens telling you you've got Newton, Neilston, Glasgow Central trains. A lot of different services, that's for sure. Certainly nice to see, I do like the PIS screens. Right, let's get this doors locked. Off we go. Onwards to Queen's Park, which is our next station point. So I must admit, for the price this route is, it's certainly worth it what you get with it. It might not seem like a huge route from the outset, but there's a lot that you can do and explore, and you get the train with it, and you know, maybe if they release a future train in the future, you have even more options to do. So certainly a route worth getting, though, that is for sure. overcooking that by quite a large amount. You'll tend to get used to the train as you drive the route more. I haven't driven it that often. I think I've done it about 3 or 4 times since it came out, and I'm still trying to get used to it. And the nice Scottish announcements, that's for sure. That's probably one of my favourite features, is the Scottish announcements. Very authentic, that is for sure. So the route is available over on Steam. There is a link in the description. It's $24.99 at the moment. However, can be prone to sales when sales do come along, so do keep an eye out for that. I haven't seen a proper Steam summer sale this year so far, so there might be a sale coming out for it very soon. So do keep an eye on that. Don't buy it immediately, or just go on the internet. I think the best thing to do with these sorts of things is go on the internet and search up when is the next Steam sale. They usually log them all on the internet, and then that way you'll be able to get it for cheaper. There's never really, much point in purchasing it. Especially if you purchase it now and it's $24.99, and then in a week's time, Steam launch their sale, then it's down to $17.99. You feel like you've been ripped off if you had just waited a week. So it's always worth doing and seeing when the next Steam sale is. In fact, what I'll do is I'll provide a link in the description to a website that provides details of when the next Steam sales are, just so that you can at least try and save some money, because a lot of these add-ons frequently get discounted, and I don't want anyone that watches my videos paying top dollar for these add-ons when you can clearly get them for cheaper. There we go. We did that just perfectly, didn't we? Look at that. I think it's very nice, this route. Very, very well modelled and detailed.
Vehicles parked at unauthorised points may be clamped or removed without warning. Short and long stay parking is available at this station.
I love the announcements. They're very, very authentic. Probably one of my favourite parts, that is for sure. Right, let's watch us leave from an external camera. And get it into position. There we go. Very nice to see indeed, that is for sure. You've got some nice graffiti there and everything, so it's really been focused on the detail, that is for sure. They've tried their best to, the developers have really tried their best to focus on the detail available in this game. Highly enjoyable player experience though, I must admit. Some routes to Train Sim World are just a bit dull. Cane Creek, for example, I've never played that route. It's not really my scene or interest, but I've had a lot of people play it and inform me that it's actually quite a dull experience because you're just driving from point to point and there's not really much to do in it. This is, I believe this is Mount Florida station here. Yeah, Mount Florida. Obviously nowhere near Florida, but still nice to see. Nice lighting, and you've got rich salt bins just like they are in real life, and locked. Very, very, nice amount of detail through that, is for sure. Right, so back into the cab. There's a train coming the other direction as we lock our doors. Right, let's get going. So on the way back, once we've departed Cathcart, I'll do a proper review. You know, give it points out of 10 and all of that jazz. So these trains really do rock it. They're very, very fast when you put them into. So I think it's parallel technically what I'm meant to be in. It's all series and parallel of these units. So. Here we go. So next station is Cathcart. If you follow the line down there, you end up going to Newton. That station I told you about earlier. We've got a red signal. We're obviously waiting for a train to come off the branch from Neilston. Some nice cautionary aspects as well, and give us a chance to stop at a red signal, which is nice to see. There we go. Alright, I'll put our DRA on. Oh no, we're all good. There you go, we've got green. That's lovely. Yeah, wonderful surroundings. It really feels like Scotland. It really feels like where it's meant to be. I think the graphics and everything really, really good, and it gives that realistic feel that I think we've wanted in Train Sim World for a long time. And honestly, this is probably the most realistic sim. Or route that's been released so far. I'm going to go ahead and say that. Probably my favourite route is East Coast Way at the moment, until they release London to Brighton with Rush Hour. We'll have to wait and see for that. Big fan of those routes. Right, so go. Bear in mind we do have a speed restriction of 20 miles an hour as we come out of here. Yeah, external sounds are really, really good, I must admit. Some nice screenshots. We traverse. So in terms of reviewing this, I think it's, you know, as I said earlier, the feel of it is very authentic, and you know, I haven't done this specific route in real life, but I have been on a 314 of ScotRail in real life. I've been on a 320 of ScotRail in real life, and this feels very much how I felt when I was on them. Apart from the weather, of course. I've set the weather to sunny just to make a good video, but in real life this isn't realistic at all. It's usually raining in Glasgow. Let's get up to 40. In terms of performance, I find the game performs really, really well. If I have a look on the performance, which is something, there you go. I'm currently getting 37, and I'm also going to absolutely run off the station. apologies to anyone that wants to get out of this door. You've got a bit of a gap. Now I've got to take it out of emergency. Let's see what it does. Yeah, I'm getting about 35, 36 frames per second. It's not amazing, but you've got to bear in mind, yeah, sorry about the people jumping into the air like Superman sort of thing. You've got to bear in mind I am recording at the same time on the same computer, so that will take about 5-10 frames away immediately, maybe even 15. So you'll be looking at probably around 50 frames per second as standard on this. That's on my PC. It depends what you've got. Obviously, I've got quite a good setup with plenty of virtual RAM and plenty of actual RAM, so that's not an issue for me. Let's get going. So I needed this setup because I knew I'd be recording. Previously on my previous computer, I could run TrainSim fine, and TrainSim World used to run decent at 30 frames per second, but the minute I press the record button, you'd be looking at about 10 to 12 frames per second, because all the usage goes to that. So you've got to have a computer that's able to split cores and be able to multitask, and obviously that's how you spec and design your computer, your custom PC. So we're coming up now to Pollock Shields East. Pollock Shores East. They all sound very similar around here. Right, start braking. I'll take the FPS meter off now. It sits at a steady 36, 37 frames per second, even when you're coming into the stations. It's not really. Let's open the doors. I think it looks fantastic for a simulator, for the surrounding area and what it sort of, the rendition it feels or it gives to the player, I think is tremendous. I really feel like I'm driving a Class 314, and if I, some of the screenshots I get here are just, insane. People commonly question them in real life. Honestly, they're that good. You even got a fan here that you can turn on. You can turn it on and it swivels from left to right and provides you with some cold air. Well, one would hope cold air. Anyway, next stoppage of Shorelands. I'll show you where we are on the map. So we're here on the map. So our next stop is Shorelands, and then we start to head round towards Glasgow again. We've only got 1, 2, 3 stations, and then we're back towards Glasgow. So not much. These stations quickly count down, and what you think is going to be a very long video suddenly turns into a half-an-hour video. So we'll have to wait and see. But in terms of the quality control on this route is much higher than what I normally expect from TrainSim. From Dovetail Games. Some of their stuff on TrainSim 2021 quality control wise has been questionable. I think the best thing they've released recently probably being the 323 and the Cross City route. You just got to get used to this train, even a max braking. It's really not doing what you'd expect. Seems like a good stopping position though. It's before the end of the platform. It just feels weird. You should put it into notch 1 and it's not very effective. Notch 2 is then about as effective as notch 3, so it doesn't really matter whether you put it in notch 2 or notch 3, it's the same. That bug obviously with the passengers, I hope that gets fixed for rush hour, because rush hour heavily depends on these. That's what the whole sort of DLC is about. But if we're just going to have issues with it, with that, then obviously it's going to be quite weird. But we'll wait and see. Just get underway. So in terms of quality control, it's really, really good. I think it's done to a tremendously high standard. I know it's not the biggest route in the world, but I don't expect the biggest routes in the world. I just expect a route that's done really well, and it's got multiple options to be able to explore for the player, and this certainly does. It has. If you count the Shields depot, then you've got 4 different destinations you can go to and from, 4 different directions. You can do the Cathcart Circle, you can do Neilston, you can do Newton, you can do Shields T.M.D depot. So. Right, here we go into Maxwell Park, this station. Only the 314s are still in service, eh? They have now retired, unfortunately, with stop rails, so you won't be able to ride any more of these. I think the only place you can ride any 314s or 313s or anything like that is the Southern East Coastway, which is the southern route. They still use Class 313s on the routes out of Brighton, heading towards Hove in that direction. I still need to do them. I've never done them in my life, and it's certainly the only place you can get a Class 313 ride these days. So certainly worth it if you get an opportunity to experience these wonderful units in real life. Apart from that, the 508s and 507s of Merseyrail are probably the very last. Not sure when they'll be replaced, but it's coming up quite soon. So we do have new trains currently at Kirkdale Depot, waiting to be commissioned. So it won't be too long, unfortunately.
All our trains and stations are no smoking areas.
Right, we've got some more cautionary aspects coming up. That's interesting. Yeah, you don't get up to a tremendously high speed on this, that's for sure, but it's still an interesting drive, and it's thorough. It gives you an opportunity to be able to traverse the full route and enjoy it as much as you can. This is our final station before we arrive back into Glasgow. I love these PIS screens. I think that's probably the best thing they've ever done to this game. Give it a properly realistic feel. I mean, even like when I look in that direction, it's very backlit. Well, that's very, very prototypical of looking into the sun. It's very, very backlit. And I think that's what makes this sort of game what it is. I think Unreal Engine really brings out the best of this game, even if it does have the issues with the wheels and stuff like that. I think graphics-wise, it really does really well. And just as we depart here and onwards to Glasgow Central, which is our final station, I'm going to give this route a number out of 10. Just to be able to match it against other DLCs that obviously we've tried out. Trains in World 2 being a quite big game these days, getting bigger every day. So that allows you to listen to the traction motors, which sound very nice indeed, quite inviting. So in terms of a score out of 10, I'll probably give this a safe 8 or a 9 out of 10. I'm not going to give it a 10 out of 10 because obviously it's not perfect. There are slight issues with passengers and stuff like that, and things going wrong. We've got a train here that's waiting for us, obviously we're running late, so I apologise, mate. In terms of a solid out of 10, yeah, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. I'd say it's very, very close to being perfect, from the PIS screens to the graphics. I think the limitation of only having one train is probably what draws it down to a 9, and then obviously the bugs and issues with the passengers, that then brings it down to a an 8. If they can fix that bug, obviously then it'll become a 9 again, but that only brings it down by a couple of points, so you are very, very, very close to having a very high score on this. It is probably one of my favourite DLCs in the game, apart from East Coast Way. I have an affiliation with East Coast Way. I don't know what it is, I just like it. Maybe it's the feeling of being near the sea, especially when you get further down. It's just quite a nice feeling, and I like routes like that. But in terms of the route quality and core and quality control, what you get with the route and everything, yeah, I'll give this a solid 8 out of 10. Yeah. Do I recommend you get it? Yes, I do. I definitely recommend you get it. If you haven't got it, please do go and get it. You will enjoy it. Class 314 is a brilliant drive, and it's very, very fun to drive, especially when you get your hands on it. It's got the AP sounds from Powerhouse Sounds, so don't worry about the sound files. Dovetail Games seems to have listened to the community when it comes to sounds. So. But I do recommend you get it. As I said, I will link in the description a link to this game, to the DLC that's available on the Steam website, $24.99. I will also link to a website that can tell you when the next Steam sales are going to be on, so you can keep an eye out for that. I don't want people to be paying more money than they need to. I always try and see when the Steam sales are. If a new DLC comes out, for example, and there's a Steam sale, I'd much rather wait for the Steam sale than have to pay full top dollar. Save money where you can, because in life money is precious, and you'll certainly learn that the older you get. And the pocket money should have been saved rather than spent. Anyway, so we are pulling into to Glasgow Central now. There's many different lines here, obviously, which showcases how busy and diverse the network is out of Glasgow Central. You can expand this route quite tremendously if you have the tools to be able to, and dev tools. Anyway, there we are, now approaching into Glasgow Central on this service from, well, Glasgow Central. Done basically a full circle now, and the train is now in the opposite direction, so we're now facing Glasgow Central. This end was at the other end, so we've actually now done a full circle. Basically like a triangle. This court inn is a jury's inn in real life. Has some wonderful views of the approach into Glasgow. Next time I go to Glasgow, I'll try and get a hotel room in there. They are quite expensive though, juries are not cheap. That being said, it is worth doing if you ever get the chance and get some fantastic photos. Anyway, here we are. I really do hope you have enjoyed this video today. I know it's only been brief, but there will be more content coming from me. I've got a bit of a schedule at the moment, so I've got to work within my work timetable. So do expect a video every weekend, regardless of whether I film it during the week or not. So hopefully there'll be another video very, very soon. Here we go, arrival into Glasgow Central. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video. This has been Glasgow Cathcart Circle from me, Leo Martin, on LM Simulation, and I hope I'll see you next time on a new video here on the channel. But in the meantime, have a brilliant rest of your day, evening or night, whatever you're doing, and I'll see you in the next video here on LM Simulation. All the best, take care, and ta-ra.